Hello and welcome to this video where we talk about how you can rank in ChatGPT and Perplexity for your own business by using black hat SEO techniques. So our goal here is that when a user searches for, let's say, best software for audience research, that your brand is mentioned here. So how can we achieve this? Well, ChatGPT crawls the internet to get updated with new information, and Perplexity works in very much the same way. And during that crawl, the software essentially learns about your brand. So text is extracted either from your websites or from other websites and then made sense of to learn about your brand. And this refresh would happen about every 2 to 3 months, where Perplexity and ChatGPT would make sure that their internal systems have the most up-to-date knowledge. So if you're using ChatGPT for a search, and let's say you type in audience research and you have not used the search function where you're using web browsing, then ChatGPT has to rely on its internal knowledge. And this is refreshed every 2 to 3 months. And if ChatGPT has not found any of these tools mentioned anywhere on the internet, then it's not possible for ChatGPT to recommend it. So this is the first thing that we need to understand, how basically ChatGPT gets its knowledge. So now that we know that, now we just need to get an idea about how can we increase the knowledge that ChatGPT has about our brand compared to other businesses. And that would happen by being mentioned on authoritative resources. And now we're talking places like LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook groups. Even on Google's own domain, we can be mentioned on things like groups.google.com and Colab is another place where you can basically create your own notebook. GitHub, you can be mentioned over there, create your own page. All of these are pages that you can completely control and create yourself. And so then it's important that these are also cross-referenced from other pages. So you want to make sure that there's also other pages that can be easily basically linked to your LinkedIn profile, for example. So that your website then links to your LinkedIn, to your YouTube, to your Twitter, your Reddit, and some way that the search engine, or in this case ChatGPT crawlers, can find these places. So we also call them tier 2 backlinks, but let's just say that there should be some other backlinks from your own website. There's other places where you can have like a link wheel, so you're connecting all of the links all onto one page. Let's call it a collection of links, and they should then point to all of these places here as well. And this is how Google and Perplexity and so on will then find all of the information about your brand. But now there's one other thing that you need to consider. What exact words do you want your brand to be known for? Because Rand Fishkin has recently made a good point that the exact wording can actually matter. He's got his audience research software SparkToro, and everywhere in the text that he appears on the internet, he has basically submitted this blurb where he calls SparkToro a audience research software instead of, for example, a tool for researching your customers. So now when you ask ChatGPT for audience research software, his tool comes up as the very first recommendation because it has been found so consistently as one of them mentioned for audience research. And so it's now important that you basically create a sentence or a paragraph about what exactly you want your business to be known for, and then you distribute that out to these places that we discuss now. And these places here that I mentioned so far, these one would be all considered white hat, no risk to create basically your own backlink from there. However, I will also show you now the black hat part of it, where basically if you type in something like Mufasa Stream 2025, you can see here all of the places where people have created their own backlinks, such as Amazon S3, even some government websites here. So if you were to go down to this road, this could certainly be considered black hat. Looks like a Canadian government website where somebody has uploaded this PDF file here. But you get the idea that you just want to find high authority websites where your brand can be mentioned, and then also link to these high authority websites from other places so that they have better discoverability. Even though technically backlinks don't matter for ranking inside of ChatGPT, but you can imagine that ChatGPT is using a web crawler in order to discover the whole internet. So web crawlers work by identifying links and then finding them. So if there was no link at all to your LinkedIn profile, to your YouTube, to your Twitter, then these ChatGPT or Perplexity web crawlers would have a harder time actually finding your brand than if you actually create links to make sure that all of your profiles are well interconnected. So I have a very juicy tip to share with you, but before we get into it, a word from our sponsor today, Cloudways, on how to create a server and then a staging environment. So you can see how quick it is to get started with Cloudways, which is why I love them. I oftentimes, when clients onboard with me, create a new Cloudways server for them. And you can see here, you are simply choosing the type of location that you want and the server size, and then you add the server. And then to make sure that whenever you're testing any new things on your website, you're not messing up your own main website, you create a staging environment, which is like a testing place to make sure that everything that you do on your website basically doesn't override anything that you've previously created. The backup and restore functions are also fantastic. We back up all of our sites on a daily basis. And with pricing starting from $14 per month, there's really no reason not to try Cloudways. I also have a 25% discount for you for the first 2 or 3 months. So check the link in the description below and get started with Cloudways today to make sure that your website loads super quickly and that you're not getting hacked. Because the security on Cloudways is second to none, whereas on other platforms, the amount of hacks that I've witnessed definitely a lot higher than on Cloudways. I've been a user of Cloudways for probably the last 3 to 4 years, and on this channel I only promote products and services that I really recommend and believe in myself, and so I wholeheartedly can stand behind the recommendation of Cloudways. Their support is also fantastic. Whenever I have any questions, they look into it within minutes. So having that backup of 24/7 support, people who are highly skilled, is just another reason why I fully support Cloudways. They also provide hosting for WooCommerce stores. Actually, that's where I saw the biggest improvement in terms of speeds when I switched from competitor, which I won't name now, to Cloudways. The speed improved by 1 to 2 seconds on the e-commerce websites. And they provide Laravel and Magento hosting as well as regular WordPress websites. So a good range there to choose from, and you can choose your own server as well. All right, now let's get back into the video for our secret tip here. So one of the things that LLMs really care about, large language models such as ChatGPT, is getting those recommendations from trusted places, right? Because LLMs also understand that there are places where you can easily create a mention of your own brand. But if you're constantly recommended in other forums and places such as Reddit, then you're much more likely to actually appear in LLMs because that's considered a kind of organic recommendation from users. So make sure that you're part of the discussion on Reddit, YouTube and other places, so that when users are actually searching for your brand, that you come up there and that you have active comments and discussions going on as well. And there's an interesting correlation between what's actually recommended by the large language model and what ranks in Google. So basically, if you can rank well in Google, you also have a lot better chances to rank when it comes to large language models, because there would be a weighting system behind the large language model. If they have found you on Bing or Google ranked number 1, it makes sense for the engineers of ChatGPT, for example, to say, all right, Google has ranked this as the number 1. Because Google takes in a million ranking factors such as user feedback and other user signals, why don't we also work that into our system where for example, an entity inside of the large language model should be somewhat stronger if it has been ranked on Google very highly. But for the most part, it really is the repetition that is key here. That's why I wanted to give you these free websites where you can create your own basically backlinks and own narrative about your brand of what it is that you do and provide. And with that, I'm sure that you can make good progress when it comes to ranking in large language models such as ChatGPT and Perplexity. So these days, it's more important that you actually rank in Bing search as well, because what Perplexity and ChatGPT use in the background when the user selects the search feature is Bing search results. So that's why it's quite important that now and going forward that you actually rank well in Bing search results. So it makes sense to set up Bing Search Console and make sure that you actually appear there and you're aware of what you're getting impressions for, so that you can then optimize for ranking in Bing as well, so that you will appear for Perplexity and ChatGPT searches. Because ChatGPT has that partnership with Microsoft. Microsoft owns the Bing search engine. It makes sense that that will continue going forward. They're not going to change to Google or any other search engine provider in the near future, from what I can see. All right, and for those of you who sticked around until this point, here's another big golden nugget. What we can see here is the search results from Perplexity and how it has arrived at the result. And the crazy thing is that none of the tools that were recommended are SparkToro, which actually points out exactly what I mentioned before, that the way that LLMs will work in the future is through a live search. And we need to understand exactly what are these tools visiting, what are they inclined to visit during that live search, so that we can optimize for exactly that specific search. So while everything I said before was general advice, doing this deep dive that I'm about to show you here now will be very important for your brand. So what the tool has done after I've asked for audience research software, it has come up with a range of keywords: best audience research software 2025, top audience research tools, and then one more keyword. And then it has gone to these articles over here, which are mainly marketing related blogs. And if you look at the title of these, you can hover over here to see the title. These are all kind of top 10 type of articles. So with that knowledge, if you are a software, you definitely want to go out and create your own top 10 articles on other high authority sites. So if you're a software with big budgets, you want to pay Forbes.com to write an article about the top 10 softwares, and make sure yours is at the number one spot with the most details and recommendations. Then choose some competitors who really don't have the features that you have. And now you basically made sure that when anybody searches for this, the tool goes to Forbes.com, finds your top 10 article, and then recommends the user your tool. So you still require this custom research to find out what is it exactly that the tool types in. And then reviews, if you're a software again, is another thing that you want to optimize for. Ideally also on other places, like post it on your LinkedIn, post it on your Medium account, create all these different, let's say, parasite SEO properties where you have content that these search engine bots essentially can consume and then recommend your business to the end user. So doing this custom research, very powerful stuff, and understanding exactly what the tools are typing in. So basically it works in a step-by-step process where we've asked for audience research. It has then looked for the best tools in 2025 and reviews. And then in this step here, it's basically gathered a list. So it's made a list over here. And then it finds more details for everything in the list. So it then goes, okay, what are the features of SurveyMonkey? What is the features of AudiSense? What is the feature of SimilarWeb? However, if you have not made it into this second step because you simply have not appeared inside of these top 10 articles, then you most likely won't be found by the second step as well. So really the key here is to be found in the top 10 articles. And then secondly, that you make sure that you have enough information on the internet about the exact features and reviews that your business provides. So let's say you're a roofer, make sure that you're describing your roofing service in detail, ideally with pricing as well. I know nobody wants to disclose pricing, but the more details you can provide about pricing, timelines, deliverables, and so on, the better these large language models will understand what it is that you do, and the higher likelihood that you will be recommended. So I hope this video was helpful. If you do need help with optimizing your business for search engines and AI agents, then do get in touch with myself at ecomexperts.au, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I would appreciate a like and subscribe as well. Thank you. My name is Mark Möller, and I'll see you in the next one.